Namaste, Shruti ji. Namaste.
So let's start, Dhananjay ji.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. I, Dhananjay Gupta, welcome you all on our weekly spiritual learning program. Today, we are joined with Acharya Brahmadev ji. Acharya ji is delivering a lecture on a series, Practical Application of Yog in Daily Life. Acharya ji has already covered a lot on this yoga, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and we have reached to the samadhi. Acharya Brahmadev ji has had an inclusive educational background in science, banking, University of Mauritius, management, ABE UK, and Darshanacharya Vedic philosophy, Darshan Yog Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, India, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at Arisabha, Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for Arisabha Mauritius on the universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. The Mauritius Council of Religion, Arya Pratinishdhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Yoga and Meditation Center. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English and French. So Acharya will enlighten us on the part of Samadhi in yoga. Over to Acharya.
Namaste, everybody. We've been covering Samadhi over the last two sessions, and today will be the final part of Samadhi. Where does that lead us to? First, let's do a brief of bringing our focus, and the best way to do it is through japa. So we'll sit down straight, close our eyes gently, keep the body totally relaxed from head to toe. Deep inhale and exhale, and while exhaling, we'll do Om Jap 3 rounds. Each round would be 3 times Jap. The first round would be vocal, second one would be Upangshu, only lips movement for you. I'll still be leading with vocal. And the third would be silent chanting of Om. Still, you'll feel the sounds of silence, the silent pronunciation. You can feel the vibrations at the level of the heart and the emotions, and also at the level of the mind, where the mental activities would be only chanting Om silently, feeling the vibrations at the level of the mind and the brain. Deep inhale, first round vocal. Second round on your lips movement for you. Still, you can sense the sound and the vibrations at the level of the lips. drone, total silent chanting for you. Feel the vibrations of the chanting on the level of the mind and the heart. Join the palms, gently rub them and cover the eyes. Open the eyes gently below the palms and transfer the energy to the facial muscles while gently rubbing them on the facial muscles. So Om is symbol for job because that's a free letter with A, U, Ma, which is A, U, M, but then written Om, O, M, and it's three times on O and one third of the time with Ma, M. And when you feel the vibrations, you can sense the vibrations. It's the natural sound given to humans. And it's the name of Ishwar God and taking the meaning of any one of the characteristics of God, like omniscient, omnipresent, present everywhere and at all times, thus watching all our karma, or all knowledgeable, knowing all that we do in our life, O Nyayakari, the all just, O Dayalu, the all merciful, or take it there, Ishwar God as Sarva Rakshak, the one protecting everybody and who protects us by the divine inspiration as the inner voice within us. So when we go on that, that crosses the point of dharana and becomes into dhyan, and focused dhyan, total absorption in that is samadhi. I gave the example, I think, in the one but last session of how dhyan, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi comes combined in our daily life, but we don't realize. Instead of trying to use that same methodology to connect to the self and to connect to Ishvara God, to improve ourselves in terms of spirituality, spiritual reality in life. One example is day to day life. When we get involved in the screens, be it mobile, tablet, TV, computer, everything, totally disconnected with the world around us, connected to the screen, that is dharma, totally immersed in what we are doing. Either we are sending messages or watching clips. This is one point of dhyan. And when we are totally lost into that, totally absorbed into that, that starts samadhi. But then instead of using that for our for increasing spirituality in our life, to be better in whatever we do, in whatever field of life it is, whether it may be cooking, it may be studies, it may be reading, it may be our personal work, it may be official work, it may be everything. If we apply the same principles, and when we get absorbed into that conscious mindful activities, that is the benefit of dharana, dhyan, and samadhi in our daily life. So samadhi brings us to tasya prashanta vahita sanskara. Tasya, that arrested state of mind, chitta vritti nirodha. Then we can feel prashanta, the calm, the peaceful state of the mind, vahita, that is, we've stopped, we've given a halt to all other impressions or thoughts or emotions and totally absorbed in only one thought or one emotion. Generally, samadhi is absorption to realize the self, the soul within the body, to realize the importance of matter in our life, serving us till we are living in this body, and ultimately attain Ishvara, God realization. And the absorption, the transformation powers of samadhi, it eliminates distractedness. Sarva arthata kagratayo kshayodayo chittasya samadhi parinama. Sarva arthat, the distractedness, eka agratayo, one pointedness, single focus. Kshaya, decay, dwindling. Udayo, rising, emerging. Chittasya, of the mind. Samadhi, parinama, the absorption, transformation. So it says the absorption transformation brings to a level where there's only one flow, a constant flow on the object of our meditation. Whether it's our self realization or God realization, whatever be the rising thoughts or dwindling thoughts, it's only on one object. And this is prasankhyan jan or ekatanta. It's only one object flowing. And when that or only one object is flowing, it's the absorption transformation process where only one topic is running in our mind, one subject. So it's the one pointed transformation, call it concentration. So it's what we call ekagrata in Hindi or in Sanskrit. And the sutra goes Tata punaha santo dito tulya pratyayo chittasya ekagrata parinama. The one pointed transformation is when subsiding and arising thoughts are the same. And we can, if we are just mindful in our daily activities, just whatever we do, we are fully aware, we are fully conscious of what we are doing. That brings us to be better focused, and at the end, as we say, the deliverables or the final results of our actions are to our expectations, be it in daily life or be it in the level of when we are sitting down for dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So, just as when we are starting on dharana, say with an external object or looking for a point of meditation, like the center of the eyebrows, the tip of the nose, or the center just below the sternum, the empty space below the sternum, which is called Purandhi. So when we are focused there, it's only that one point which is running in our mind, nothing else. And when nothing else runs into our mind, there starts, we move, it's a very subtle transition from dharana to dhyan and dhyan to samadhi. When we realize that, what happens is now, wherever be our focus, wherever be our focus, we'll be able to realize that, and that goes into what Maharshi Patanjali describes in the Siddhi or Vibhuti path. And the good thing of it, it says, we can realize the powers of friendliness and the powers of others, where we can sense anybody coming to us. We can sense the negative vibes or the positive vibes, and we can shut ourselves to the negative vibes and restrain ourselves just to the positive vibes. And this is where we can, as we say, influence the personality, because we've subsided the negative vibes. We are not affected with that, and we become more powerful with our positive vibes, and we can still bring that person gradually, slowly to connect to the positive vibes with us. And this is where negative vibes don't overpower us. It says, Maitreya Deshu Balani. From friendliness and others comes powers. And the powers is the power of transformation. Once we've transformed the self, how we can influence others with the positive vibrations. And then it says, the strength that we can receive. Baleshu Hasti Baladini. Practicing on the strength leads to further strength, consolidating our physical, mental, and spiritual strength. But that goes as a process. As I always say, it's baby steps count. You bring it drop by drop, and at the end, you'll get the whole recipient, which is full. Never get discouraged. There may be steps when we start walking one step, we just tread and fall, but then we get up, walk again. We walk 10 steps, we may fall, go back 2 steps, and then we'll walk again. But at the end of the day, when we've done 10 steps, we went back 2 steps, it's a progress of 8 steps ahead. So that's why this is a field where we need to give time to time. And when we give time to time, there we become better at observing yama and niyama in daily life. And it's not following yama and niyama in daily life only at the physical level, but also at the mental level, then at the level of whatever we express in life, in terms of words and in terms of physical actions. And when we are fully aware, following yama, niyama at the level of manasa, thoughts, vacha, speech or words, and karmana, physical actions, that starts transforming our personality, and this is where we start become a yogi. It's not a yogi is meant to be only dwelling in a forest or in a cave or in a hut. No. we can be a yogi in our daily life. Because at the end of that it says Sattva Purushan Yata Khyati Matrasya Sarvabhavadhishtha Tritvam Sarvadya Tritvam Cha. The insight that we can focus on Sattva Buddhi, the level of purity of the mind, and Purusha, that is the soul, and from that comes mastery in life, mastery over all the states of existence. That is, we are mindful at each and every step of our life, and ultimately realize the omniscience of God, God being present everywhere at all times and always inspiring us to be on the right path. Then comes realization of what we pray for in Gayatri Mantra. Dhyo yo naha prachodayat, ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर ले चले. So that Shreshth Marg is the discriminating faculty of the mind. And this is where we go from usual normal mental faculty to wisdom in whatever we are thinking about. We'll be able to make the difference, to gauge the difference between right and wrong, between truth and untruth, and ultimately be assertive in our duties, in our responsibilities. And we become autonomous in the sense that we need not get the, be prompted by others. We are autonomous in the sense that we can make the difference ourselves. And that leads to detachment from rag, dvesh, moh, kam, krodh, lobh. Detachment from infatuation, from inordinate attachment, detachment from hate, detachment from overindulgence in sensual pleasures, be it taste, smell, sight, hearing, or touch. Then detachment from anger, where we'll be more lucid, we'll be calm, we'll be peaceful with ourselves, and we don't, as there's one saying which I'll also refer also to, we don't hand over the keys to our happiness to others. We have total control of that, and whatever the other party does, we know that this is his or her karma, and what I do is my karma. Then it's also abstaining from this was krodh and lobh, from greed. And greed is, this is where we get, as we say, to put our foot on the banana peel. So yoga, when we apply it and we are mindful at each and every step of our life, so we are careful on whatever we do. But remember, in karma, there is the concept of Shukla Krishna and Shukla Krishna, which is, Shukla means the pure level of karma, the positive only, and that is within our control. Then comes Krishna karma, which is the bad karma. At times it happens with us involuntarily, but when we are mindful, we won't repeat the same mistakes. And then there's Krishna and there's Shukla and Krishna karma. I say Shukla, Ashukla, and Shukla, Ashukla. Shukla, the pure, the Ashukla, the bad karma, and then there are the mixed karma, which is Shukla, Shukla karma. The mixed karma comes which are unavoidable, like we are walking. So many tiny things just get in below our feet and are crushed. So that is inevitable in life. We'll, we can try to avoid things which are visible to us, but things which are not visible, that's unavoidable. Now let's go for one example. We are putting a plant in a pot. So first, what we do, we accumulate earth from other places, and while accumulating the earth, we can harm worms and other things. And that is mixed karma. And this is mostly understood when we refer to people in agriculture. They are just running the tractors or the hand plow, so many other things get affected. But then look at what is the higher benefits that are obtained. Agriculture sustaining the community by providing food. So there's a question of when we go into yoga, then we go also into the level of benefits, and once we know that we are doing the things for the greater good, then the ashukla karma, the negative karma, or the negative part of the mixed karma, doesn't impact our life because it's for the greater good. And for the greater good, it goes in line with principle 9 and 10 of the Arya Samaj, which tells us uh, in whatever we do, as far as regards things, we should always take into account community benefit or the common good rather than our personal good. Yes, when we are sitting down in dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, that is our personal. But when we are looking at the community as a whole, because we are not living only as one individual being, so the common good prevails. It's like when we are living with the family, we have the objective of caring for the family, providing all the needs of the family. So that is the common good. And the common good gives us, when we reach the satisfaction level that we've done our best, that gives us more inner peace and better drive to do much better in future activities. Then the last part of it says, the last principle of the Arya Samaj says, whatever we do at personal level, we have principles, we have our own standards. And when we have to abide with that, but if those principles, those rules cross the line on the common good, then the common good takes precedence. So that's why we say Manushya Samajik Prani, a social being. Unfortunately, we've just taken it to be social animals and we're driven by the animal features. But when we take it as social beings, then we realize. And this is where I say we can be yogi in daily life. We don't need to be on a particular place in a particular form of life, but we can, once we are mindful in whatever we are doing, take into account that we are always trying to increase the positive karma. And the weight of the positive karma outweighs whatever we've done previously as negative karma, or outweighs whatever we do, which is in the mixed karmas, which are unavoidable in life. So when that outweighs, it's always the positive karma which will have the bearing in our life. It's like the seeds. We have a handful of seeds. We divide it into two. Half of them we put them in vacuum, they won't sprout, they won't get anything. And the other half we give it water, air, light, everything, it will sprout. So once the force of the positive karma outweighs the negative karma becomes just like the seed in the vacuum, in the vacuum. And this is where slowly, gradually, each and every step we go on fine tuning ourselves as truly human beings, because the discriminating faculty of the mind, the wisdom, will be operating at each and every single step of our life. Then, what is the behavior of the yogi? Usually, when we reach such a stage of mindfulness, Maharishi Patanjali says, Sthanyo pani mantrani Sangamaya Karanam Punaha Anishta Prasanga. When invited, a yogi should have no cause for attachment and pride due to renewal of inclination to undesirables. It says a yogi shouldn't be affected by raga dvesh, especially when we are called for in public gatherings or within uh, certain groups. The first thing is that at the level of intro, people will just give a high praise, and often it's blown out also. And if we get indulged in that, we are leaving the path of yoga in daily life. We shouldn't be affected by that, and we are left unaffected by that. We'll just do our work, and we'll also avoid the undesirables, because when we are brought into the groups like this, and when we are unaffected by whatever praise or whatever things which people have pinpointed to us, we'll take praise like poison, because it may lead us to pride, and we'll take the negative comments as Amrit, because we'll go into introspection to see whether these comments are justified, and if ever they are justified or there's the slightest truth in that, we'll revise our doings, our deeds, our karma, our way of behaving. So that says, going with the Vedic philosophy, it says, take praises to be the poison of life, because it can lead you to pride, and when you fall into the pitfall of pride, then you are finished. The yoga part of your life is destroyed. Whereas, whenever there is an adverse comment, you just take it there, don't get affected with that. But then when you go into introspection, you analyze it. If it's unjustified, just drop it. And if there's the slightest amount of, say, 1% or even half a percent of truth, then we'll say, okay, thank you, silently to that person. I'm revising my strategy. I'm not going to do it next time. And this is why self introspection, Atma Nirikshan, is an essential, integral part in the life of anybody, especially someone who is trying to walk on the path of yoga. And that is mandatory for yogis. Because what happens also, Maharishi Patanjali gives the warning. It says, whenever The yogi is called because of the brilliant personality, as we say, the aura of positive vibes that are spread. It says, be careful. People may give you certain things just in cognizance of whatever knowledge you may have shared to them, all the positive things you may have brought to their lives. But you fall into the trap of that, you may go on the reverse gear. Instead of purity of mind, body, and soul, saucha, you may start now indulging in other practices. Instead of living the life of aparigraha, where you keep only the essentials, you may get onto the other side, parigraha, where you fall into the trap. Now you start accumulating things. And one example is very clear. I take it also from the Commonwealth. If you see many of the head of states or head of governments, when they go on foreign trips, the gifts and everything which they receive, they keep it as personal. But look at Bodhiji, what he did. He said, these are not mine. They have been given to me because of the office that I occupy, that I am now sitting on. So what he does, he's given the orders regularly. The gifts that are given to him either put on display as part of the national uh, treasures, or they are put on auction, and the money that comes from there are used for the Prime Minister's relief funds to assist people in need. So that is one level. I think this is the highest point where we can see yoga in the life of people. And the other example which I will take is Bill Gates giving to charity. And we've seen his involvement in the present dire times of COVID 19, pushing the firms to get a vaccine for that. They know they have more than enough to lead the daily life. We need breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We need decent clothing. We need a decent place to live. We need a decent vehicle to drive. But beyond that, they are giving back to humanity. So these are the vibrant examples. Bodhi knows about the yoga philosophy. I don't know Bill Gates knows about it or not, but I think he knows because he always goes on retreat in Rishikesh, and he's given the inspiration to that other giant of the IT, uh, the one running Google, and the other one running Facebook, to go yearly on 15 days retreat to meditation to fine tune themselves on the yoga philosophy. So, if people at that level can grow, and they are growing just because they are mindful, let's not look at the whatever be the spillovers of the negative karmas. Let's look at the positivity, especially in terms of Bill Gates and what uh, the founder of Apple also was doing, I think Tim Cook, and Satya Nadella, which has taken over Apple, he does the same thing. And this is where yoga drives in life. And in India, we saw Tata also did the same thing. J.D. Tata, Jamset Tata. The Tata village is a role model for India in Jamshedpur. So we can also be the role model at the level of our family, at the level of our relatives and friends, and ultimately we'll have a bearing on society. So that's the benefit of when we go to the level yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. And I'll just close with, just remember, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi has been grouped as one word saniyama by Maharishi Patanjali because the transition from one to the other is very subtle. The divide is hardly visible. And when we start from dharana, go to dhyan and samadhi, it may be a very rapid transition, but if we face certain hicks, we shouldn't get discouraged. Just continue the process, continue to walk on that line, and when we start reaping the benefits, we'll always go into that and never go back on the reverse gear. Any questions, please? If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and you can put it.
Nahi, Acharya.
Okay, so then let's close the session of today. And if anyone has any query, you can just send me a WhatsApp message or query on Messenger through Facebook. You can use the email there. I'll reply to you. Don't worry. It can take some time because at times when we have so many queries, you just have to process one by one. So don't worry, I'll always attend to the queries. So let's close the session of today with one round of jap again. So this time we'll do Gayatri Mantra 2 times vocal, 2 times Upanshu, lips movement, and 2 times silent chanting, still focusing on our own pronunciation, the sound waves, and take it there. Gayatri Mantra is prayer for the enlightened mind, Medha Buddhi. Close the eyes gently, sit down straight, deep inhale. First round, vocal. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Now only lips movement for the second round. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Third round, silent chanting for you. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. palms together rather than cover the eyes. Open the eyes below the palms and transfer the energy to the facial muscles. So thank you everybody. Thanks for your attention. We'll see you next Sunday 9 to 9:45 p.m. सभी को धन्यवाद सादर नमस्ते
धन्यवाद, नमस्ते।